What's up, everyone? It's Bones here. With Valiant Smashers officially in the TCG, I thought I'd make a video on how to play against the deck that's gotten the most hype from the set. But first, if you're a fan of in-depth combo videos, new set coverage, and fun stuff that we like to do on the channel, then valiantly smash on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons. Now, I'm going to start with Emblem of Oath, and you'll see the Cosmic Cyclone and the Forbidden Droplets here in the hand as well. These will be kind of your biggest board-breaking counters, and I wanted to show them off together, primarily Cosmic Cyclone, but the Emblem of Oath, I also want to show how it's a blessing and a curse, just because when you have to activate it first before going into any of your other plays, it means that you can't play through as many disruptions. Once you see that your opponent is starting with Emblem of Oath, you're already starting off kind of on a positive note, even if they have full combo, but we're going to use the effect of Trudea in order to put it back in the spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. We'll get ourselves the Primera, as now we can use the Primera's effect, special summon it, and then get its on summon search effect, as we'll then be able to get ourselves the field spell, activate the field spell, as we'll then be able to pitch a card in order to get ourselves Emmet, and now we can use the effect of Emmet special summoning itself, then quick synchro with the field spell, bringing out our third leg. The third leg will be able to get ourselves the draw, and now we can go on to the end phase where we'll be able to get back the Primera, and then pass on to our opponent. I'm going to set a card just so that the Centur-Ion stuff can play. You don't obviously have to set the card here, but we're going to use the effects of Trudea along with the Primera. And then we're going to special summon both of them out, as we're going to use the on-summon effect of the Primera, and then as Chainlink 2, we can use the field spell to quick synchro. We also turn the Trudea to level 8, which doesn't matter because we would be using the effect of Emmet anyways, but we're now going to activate the Cosmic Cyclone as Chainlink 3 on the field spell. And this is pretty huge because it means that they can't quick synchro anymore, and this means that their Hot Red King Calamity play is done unless they have another way to do it, which would require something niche like set rotation or something along those lines, but we'll then be able to activate the droplet here, and this is another thing that I wanted to show, where droplet plus Cosmic Cyclone can just be a complete blowout, because now you potentially take away their follow-up, and then you leave them on the fact that they only have Trudea for the next turn. They're just stuck with vanilla monsters. The effect of Primera is negated, so if they really have nothing else here, then you're free to play, and it shouldn't be too hard to clear this board. Now, I also would like to point out that if you don't happen to get the Cosmic Cyclone, but do have the droplets, then you can wait until they go into the Crimson Dragon, and then once they go into the Crimson Dragon, you can just droplet that so that they can't go into their Hot Red King Calamities, and lock you out of playing. That said, I'll take you on to the next one. Now, this next one is probably the funniest, but it's also something that unfortunately I have to show alone for the hand traps that stop Centur-Ion the most, and you'll see why, but we're going to use the effect of Trudea, as we're going to get ourselves the Primera. We'll use the effect of Primera, as we're then going to use the effect of Primera on summon to search off the field spell, as we'll get the effect of the field spell as we activate it, and then we'll pitch the Ghost Ogre, as we'll be able to get ourselves the Emmet, use the effect of Emmet, we'll then quick synchro with the field spell, giving us our third leg. The third leg will then give us a draw. We're going to Ghost Ogre, and this is where the hard counter to the Centur-Ion stuff happens, where you're going to be able to get the draw, but the fact that the third leg is in the graveyard now, you can't Hot Red King Calamities with it. The fact that you can't even get back the Primera, Trudea is the only one on board that's left. One Ghost Ogre just gets so much value when you hit the synchro that it's one of the things that I really think that if this deck ever became prominent, Ghost Ogre could be one of the bigger counters alongside stuff like Shifter, Ghost Reaper, which can banish the third leg as well, and all copies of it, but I'll take you on to the next one now. So in this next one, we're going to be starting with Emblem Oath, and we're also going to see Imperm Veiler and Bestial Magnuma DD Crow. So you really only need one of these to stop the turn, and because they have Emblem Oath, especially if they start with this, it means that you really will only need one. The only time where you may need two is when they don't have the Emblem of Oath and they start with Trudea. So we're going to start with the Trudea's effect, as we'll be able to use its effect on field, put it back in the spell and trap zone as a continuous Trap, use the effect of Primera, and then special summon it, use its on-field effect to get our search for the field spell. Then we'll activate the stand-up, as we'll use the stand-up effect, pitching a card, as we'll then be able to get Emmet. We'll use the effect of Emmet, as we'll special summon it. We'll then be able to quick synchro with the field spell going into our third leg. Now, the first part I want to talk about here is that Imperm/Veiler, if they don't have any follow-up beyond this, then this is just a complete choke point the same way Ogre was, because they can't continue from here. They would have to pass on this, and during the end phase, they wouldn't be able to get Primera on board, which just completely stunts them. But then there's not just that, it's the fact that when you go to the end phase, if you also have something like DD Crow or Magna Hut, you have the ability to banish the Primera from the graveyard, and by Magna Hut I mean any Bestial, but it's just the fact that there's so many ways that you can stop this with cards that a lot of people already might use, especially in formats where stuff like Crow and Veiler are necessary. It just makes this deck that much weaker in my opinion, and what will keep it from becoming a top deck in my opinion. Now in these next two, I kind of want to show different ways that you can play around getting hit by one of your biggest choke points, and we're going to start here by just setting the Cosmic Cyclone so that we can go on to the next turn. And now if you do have Super Heavy Samurai Waka Flocka along with the Trudea or any of your other one-card starters, then you do have the ability to bait out the Cosmic Cyclone with the Waka Flocka, and that should prompt it because your opponent probably doesn't want to let that resolve. That said, we can now normal summon the Trudea, continue to combo like that, and that's just one of the solutions I wanted to provide to the rest of the problems that I showed before. Now, the second solution comes within the Horus cards, and I'll talk about more problems and solutions within the deck profile, but I want to show off what we can do with the Horus cards, as we're going to use the effect of our Trudea in order to put in the trap zone. Then we'll use the effect of Primera, summon the Primeras, we'll then be able to get ourselves the stand-up, we'll then activate the stand-up, pitching the droplet, as we'll then be able to get ourselves the Emmet. Now we can use the effect of Emmet, as we'll be able to get the quick synchro off of the field spell, so that we can then get the effect of our third leg for the draw, which will give us the send for the Horus cards. And then we're going to use the Imseti, get ourselves the King Sarcophagus, we'll then be able to draw one off of the Imseti, as we'll use the King Sarcophagus, we'll send off the Happy, and now we can special summon out the Happy and the Imseti, and this will give us the ability to make the Hope Harbinger. So you can go into something like Photon Lord here. At this point, if you are playing the Super Heavy Samurai stuff and the Horus stuff, it's likely you're going to play into Nibiru, so that is going to become something that's relevant also. But the main point here is that you can go into the number 38 in order to prevent your opponent from hitting you with something like Cosmic Cyclone that could completely shut off your entire Calamity play. So now that I've shown everything that I kind of just wanted to get out of the way, outside of maybe like Ghost Reaper, which I believe I still mentioned within the video, I think that one of the best ways to protect yourself when playing this deck is something like Crossout. I also think that the Super Heavy Samurai Waka Flocka and the Horus stuff do have a significant level of importance because of just how fragile the Centurion stuff kind of is. The fact that you can also go over 40 since you're playing a few bricks or cards that necessarily aren't too great to draw within the King Sarcophagus, the two Emmets, you also have an abundance of going second cards, but you're still playing 44 cards, you have 15 going second cards, the crossouts, which I guess aren't going second, so you have 12, but the fact that you can still cross out and protect yourself from whatever your opponent may hit you with, especially in something like a mirror, where you can stop an opposing Primera, outside of having the extra gas along with the crossout in order to keep pushing through your plays, you still are hit by big problems with stuff like Ghost Reaper, which can banish your third leg. You also have the Dimension Shifter, which can get all your stuff banished, and that means Primera doesn't go to the graveyard, which means that you can't get it back with your third leg. If you do play the Horus stuff and the Waka Flocka, along with the other Super Heavy Samurai stuff, as stated, Nibiru also becomes kind of an option that your opponent can play against you, but it also becomes something that you can cross out as well. So it's not something that you totally lose, but it's something that can wreck your day, as you really never want to end on a Nib token. So having the crossout is pretty important there. You'll also see that even with 44 cards, you do have the ability to play a bunch of starters for the archetype, and the Waka Flocka also getting you into your Trudea through the Infernal Flame Flame Banshee is just really nice, so it doesn't deter the consistency of the deck. But outside of that, I really don't have much else to say, so I'm just going to get onto the card by card, as we have the 3 Trudeo, the 3 Primera, the 3 Waka Flocka, the 3 Horus, or the 3 Hemseti, the 2 King Sarcophagus, the 2 Emmets, the 1 Terra, the 1 Faith, the 1 Trap, then we have the 1 Happy, the 3 Imperm, the 2 Benkei, the 1 Soldier Boost, the 3 Stand-Up, the 3 Emblem, the 3 Crossout, the 3 Droplet, the 3 Crow, and the 3 Veiler to round out the main deck. Then we have the Typhon, Zeus, Hope, Photon Lord, Infernal Flame Banshee, Abyss Dweller, Bagu, P Little Knight, Omega, Entertainment. And then we have the Deathbane Lulu Wallace, which is kind of the alternative that you make to the third leg if your third leg were to get banished by something like Ghost Reaper. But then we have the Hot Red King Calamity, and then finally the Crimson Dragon, and the 2 copies of your third leg to round out the deck profile. So for everyone who's made it this far, I'd like to thank you for watching and for the 600 plus subs. I truly appreciate your support, and now that we've monetized the channel, giving us access to supers and memberships means that more awesome stuff is on the horizon. To get the channel membership, just click on the description below, and there will be a link that takes you there. You'll also notice a free Discord link that I've made for us too. If you want to support me as a content creator, even if you can't donate supers or get a membership for the channel, clicking on those thumbs up and subscribe buttons help a lot too. For those wondering, I do plan on making updates to the channel as the support on the channel grows. Anyways, I hope to see you on the next one. It's Bones, signing out.